Hi, Marv. Do you have an intake for me?
Yes, Maria Luisa, room number 4.
Room number 4. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Maria Luisa? Hi, my name's John. Nice to meet you. I just want to meet. So how was the trip in?
I was okay. TTC was pretty smooth.
Oh, that's good. So I know I introduced myself, but just to introduce myself properly, my name is John. I'm a law student with the Department of Community Legal Services. I am supervised by a lawyer. Now, before we start on the interview, I think it's important for me to let you know that anything that you tell me is confidential. I don't share with anyone other than my supervising lawyer or people within the clinic, unless we have your explicit permission to share it. Okay? So don't worry about anyone who doesn't need to knowing about your situation. But before we do get started on why you're here, there are a few questions that I do need to ask you in order for us to actually start the intake. And those are personal information that we need to record for our admin purposes. So things like your name, your address, and some personal information like your household income. And I'm gonna just input it into this computer. Is that okay if we just start with that, and then we could get that out of the way, and then go into your issue?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So can you just confirm your first name for me again?
It's Maria Luisa.
And it's 2 words?
Yes.
And your last name?
It's VT, V-I-T-T-I.
And VT is with a V is with like Victor.
Yes.
Okay. And can I have your date of birth?
It's February 15th, 1986.
1986. And your phone number, please.
416-656-6648.
6648. And can I leave voicemails on it?
Yes.
Great, thank you. And the personal questions is what's your source of income?
It was my job, but as of a week ago, I don't have that anymore, so right now, nothing.
Okay. The household income for the last year?
I live by myself, and last year I brought in about $12,000.
Okay, so that part is done. I do have to complete the intake at my computer back in my little cubicle. Do you mind if I just left you just for maybe 5 minutes? I'll be right back.
Yeah, that's fine.
Thanks so much. Hi again, thank you for waiting.
No problem.
Okay, so now that part of the interview is over, I'd like to ask you what brings you in today, and I just wanted to let you know that I will be taking down notes, so I'm going to apologize in advance if I don't make as much eye contact as I would like to.
Okay.
Okay, so what does bring you in today?
So my issue really stems from the fact that I lost my job last week, and I was there for a pretty long time, and it's my only source of income. So
How did you lose your job?
they fired me. So last week, Jason and Emily took me into the office, and they basically just let me go.
Oh, that must have been hard for you, eh?
Yeah, it was.
So who is Jason and Emily?
Jason is my direct supervisor, and Emily is she's the HR person.
And so what happened when they brought you into the meeting?
So they basically said that they've been watching, like keeping an eye on the way I've been working, and they say that I was working too slow and that they had to let me go.
And did they warn you about that before?
I wouldn't say it was a warning, but they did speak to me about it about a month ago. They kind of just addressed the fact that I've been working slower than I had in the past.
And what do you do? What is your job?
I'm a material handler. It's in a factory setting.
And you mentioned that you worked there for a long time. So how long have you worked there?
It's been just slightly over 5 years.
And the warning last time, or the speaking to last time, was the only time they complained about this.
Yes.
So why are you doing this now?
Well, nothing's really changed in the way that I actually do my job. It's just, I had an accident about 4 months ago in the winter, and I had slipped and fell on some ice in front of my house.
Oh, how are you feeling?
Okay, I mean, I'm not 100%. I can do my daily activities, but it just makes it a little more difficult at work. And so, yeah, I think that's the reason maybe that they're concerned about how quickly I'm working.
Do you mind if I just summarize what I heard so far?
Sure.
Just to make sure that I've understood everything.
Mm-hmm.
So you work as a material handler for 5 years, and you hurt yourself, well, a few months ago. And then when you hurt yourself, you found that you've been having trouble working to the speed that you're expected to.
Mm-hmm.
You gave them a doctor's note to Jason,
Mm-hmm.
and then the employer started complaining about your work, and then about 2 weeks ago, they brought you into the HR manager's office and told you that you're being fired because you're working too slow. Do I understand everything correctly?
Yeah, everything's correct except it wasn't 2 weeks ago, it was last week
Oh, it was last week.
that I
Okay.
got fired.
Okay, so I do think I have a gist, or I have some understanding of the issues that you came here for today. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to consult with my supervising lawyer just to see if she has anything that she wants to ask or she has any input. And then I'm just going to be back. It's going to take me maybe about 10-15 minutes, but hopefully it won't take me any longer than that. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Great, thanks so much. So I spoke to my supervising lawyer, and she does have just a couple of questions that she wanted to clarify. And then after that, we should be able to discuss what we can or we cannot do for you, or what your options are. So just to start off with, did you bring any documents with you today, like termination letter, the doctor's note, employment contract, anything like that?
No, actually, I don't have any of those with me. I don't have a termination letter. I do have a medical note, but it's at home.
So to recap what we agreed to do, is we'll be writing a demand letter to your employer for wrongful dismissal damages and human rights damages. But we're both gonna have a homework,
Okay.
a task that we need to do before we get to write that demand letter. So my task will be to do research on what is an appropriate amount of money or damages that we should be seeking. I think that's gonna take me about 2 weeks. I can't guarantee that it will be done in 2 weeks, but I think rough timeline will be 2 weeks for me.
Okay.
And for your task, as you know, we're gonna be meeting in 10 days from now. Your task will be to bring in the termination letter, the employment contract, if you can find it, and the doctor's note that you gave to Jason, your supervisor.
Okay.
Oh, and of course, you're worried about your income because you obviously have rent and groceries to buy, and etc. I encourage you to apply for employment insurance as soon as possible. If you have any problems with getting employment insurance, just give me a call and we'll see what we can do to help.
Okay. Thank you. It's just a lot of information. Can I just ask you, if you don't mind, just writing it down for me?
The task?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course. I'll make a little list of what you need to do in preparation for our meeting next week.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So did you have any last questions or anything else you wanted to talk about before we conclude the interview?
No, I think that's it. I think you addressed most of, well, all of my concerns right now, so.
Okay, well, if you do have any questions, you have my phone number, but otherwise, I guess I'll see you 10 days from now. And why don't I just walk you to the front?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. It was really nice meeting you.